All right, we are here on campus at Gadsden City High School with a very special athlete, Miss Lily Powers. She came onto the scene with us during flag football. My photographer that was out here said, you know, you got to check this girl out. She's athletic. She's all over the place. We did a little research on her and found out flag football is not your first love, gymnastics and cheering, and we're going to get into all that. But before we do, we obviously want to know where you were born and raised and where you grew up at.
Okay. So I was born in Carrollton, Georgia.
Okay.
And then I lived there until I was 8, moved here in 3rd grade, and I've been here ever since.
You've been in the Gadsden City school system here. What time or what point did you start picking up sports, and was gymnastics your first sport?
Okay, so I started gymnastics in Georgia when I was like 2, because my mom. 2. But wow. My sister cheered for her middle school when we lived in Georgia. And gotcha. So when we moved here, she got into all-star cheer at Ace of Gadsden.
Okay.
And I just copied everything that she did.
How old is your sister now?
She's 21.
So she's been kind of a mentor through all this process, I'm sure. What are some of the things you learned from her, even at an early age, watching her do this, in front of you?
Yeah. She's just got, like, a positive look on everything. Like, we could have a terrible routine, a terrible whatever's going on, and she would just laugh and be like, it's okay. We'll do better next time. Like, I'm not going to worry about it. Kind
of a nonchalant approach to it. We have had several cheerleaders on before, Zeb Jones being one of them, who you do know. I had no idea how competitive it was. Once you get to the level like you guys are talking about, can you explain to someone who may just see cheerleaders on Friday night and think that's all that there is to it? That's nothing to what we're talking about when it comes to competitive cheer.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll go to Nationals in February in Texas. And there's this huge arena, and there's like 20,000 people who come and watch. And you compete against like the best of the best from all over the country. So most of my competition will come from Texas.
So we're talking about the elite of elite at your age group.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right.
And then in April, we'll go to the World Championships in Disney World, and people will fly in from all over.
That's actually, that could be from any country in the world.
Like Canada, Mexico, everywhere.
When you get to those kind of competitions, and you've performed in them before, obviously, what are the nerves like? I mean, are you guys collectively nervous? Is there some more than others? What is that like?
So, okay, I mean, the younger ones are always usually the most nervous.
The most nervous.
I think after my first year on such an elite team, I don't get as nervous as I used to. The first year, everything was like insane. But then you kind of get used to it. Gotcha. So before I go on, like I'm just like, okay, it'll be fun. Let's just have fun.
Kind of like your sister.
Yes, yes.
You're definitely gonna need someone like that on your squad, because
if everyone's freaking out,
I bet everybody's freaking out.
Then someone's got to calm everybody down.
Yeah, there ain't no doubt. Now, when you seen your sister doing these things and you were coming up, what was it that made you gravitate? Was it because it was your sister, or was it because it actually looked cool what she was doing?
I mean, it looked so cool.
Gotcha.
And also in gymnastics, so I liked floor the best.
Gotcha.
I was terrible at beam. I didn't like bars. They hurt my hands. And I was like, well, what can I do where it's just the floor?
Okay.
And then she was like, well, Lily, just cheer with me. So I did.
Gotcha.
And she was really good at it. So, I mean, it was lots of fun.
So you guys got to practice nonstop, even at home and stuff. Talk about some of the disciplines that go into this, because from what I've seen in the interviews we've done prior, I had no idea the training regimen. I mean, this is tough as football, like guys football and some of these other things that we've heard.
Yes. So, I mean, I'm driving. Okay, I practice in Atlanta. I'm driving to Atlanta right now 3 to 4 times a week.
Wow.
Just for practice. I mean, and once you're there, it's like, it's a whole other world. It's insane. And it's so much fun, and I'm so glad that I'm doing it, but it is something else.
Is it some of the disciplines you learned through that, does that not help you in school and in work and other aspects of your life? Can you talk about that a little bit?
So all these coaches, like, their main thing, they're like, okay, you're nervous, do it anyways. Like, you don't feel good, your body hurts, do it anyways. Like, I had a coach once, I was sick that practice, and I was like, look, like, I'm really not feeling well, I don't know if I can do this. And he was like, one day you'll be sick at a competition, it's good practice, you're doing everything.
He's telling the truth.
I was like, all right, fair enough. So I think through that, like, if there's something hard I have to do in school, anything, I'm like, okay, we'll just do it.
That's right.
You just have to do it. You don't have a choice.
Well, I mean, you know, in life, like when you go to college, get your degree, whatever you choose to do. You may not want to go to college. You may want to go to college. When you go to work for someone, same scenario. Kids could be sick. Your husband could be sick. You know, it could be the walls caving in, but you still got to go to work. Because if you don't, you're going to get fired.
Once he said
life.
that, I was like, okay, like there's no excuses anymore. Like we're just doing this.
We got to get it done. I love it. So now, talk to us now about how all this is transitioned. Now, do you cheer at all here at school?
No, sir.
You don't cheer at all at school.
Have
they asked you several times?
Yes, sir. I cheered in middle school when I was doing Ace of Gadsden.
Gotcha.
And then when I got to high school, I started doing Ace of Birmingham.
Okay.
Which is the same gym that Zeb went to for a while. And that within itself, driving an hour for practices was a lot.
Correct.
And I was convincing myself my sophomore year. I was like, I can do school cheer. I can do both. It'll be fun. And then I looked at the school cheer schedule, and I was like, there's no way.
It's a full-time schedule all on itself, correct? Mm-hmm. I mean, they're out there as many hours as the football team sometimes.
Yeah.
There's no way you can do that and competitive things is impossible, correct?
Especially with the drive. I mean, some of the people who live near the gyms, they can figure out a way to do both, but there's no way.
All right, so for those who don't know, when we're talking about nationals, let's say nationals right now instead of worlds, what does that week or time frame look like? What is your daily schedule when you go to nationals, so to speak?
So we'll think like February.
Okay.
In February, we will have practice probably 5 days a week.
Okay.
So I'm graduating in December. So February, I'll probably be staying with my team in Atlanta for that week. And then we'll practice every day. And on the weekends, we'll practice Mondays, in the mornings and in the afternoons.
Okay. Preparing for it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's say the week's here and you have to go to Texas. What does that look like?
Wait, explain that.
The competition week when you have the nationals.
I mean, we'll probably be in the gym from...
You guys travel. What part of Texas is it at?
Dallas.
Okay. How long is the time period that you're at nationals? Is it a weekend?
3 days.
3 days. Okay, so it's like a 3-day weekend, I take it, I guess.
So
what do those days look like?
The first day will be all the elite teams. It'll be a fundraiser. Okay. They perform because everyone comes to watch. Okay. So it raises a bunch of money. We'll just perform like a practice run, and all the fans will come watch. It'll be a fundraiser.
Gotcha.
Then the next day will be worth 25% of our score.
Okay.
And we compete. And then the next day you come in and you hope you do better because it's worth more.
So basically the first day, the fundraiser is where if you have any kinks or doubts or anything, that's basically let's go and get this taken care of. Let's get this out of the way so we can concentrate because the next day is 25% and you have to kill that.
I love doing the extra day. It makes me feel so much more calm.
Yeah, because you're getting out there and doing it first. It's kind of like if you were in a boxing match. They always say, there's nerves. And once you get hit that first time, then you settle in and start doing what you know to do.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense though. But how have you guys performed on that level before?
So this is my first year with my team in Atlanta.
Okay.
Before then, I was an Ace of Birmingham, and we always did really well. We didn't get to go COVID year because COVID. And
did they shut the whole thing down?
You could send in videos of your routine.
Okay.
So we did that. We got 5th, which isn't bad. We had a ton of people in our division. And then the next year, I forgot what we got the next year. And then last year we did really well. We had a mistake on the first day. Okay. So we didn't get top 5.
On the 25% day. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I mean, and usually you can kind of make up for it the second day, but sometimes it was
just...
It wasn't a good day.
Everyone's so good, it's hard to make up.
Everyone's amazing.
Yeah.
So it's really like you do perfect or you don't have any shot. Like you do perfect, maybe you'll win. Gotcha. You don't do perfect, you have no chance.
So we have mentioned Zeb several times, and you said Zeb, and we've had Zeb on. Someone like him that has went through, was recruited by Top Gun, moved to Miami, performed on the level. I think it was a Grand National Champion. He was
Grand World Champion.
Grand World Champion.
That was insane.
And then you and I talked off camera about him finishing a routine with an ACL tear, finishes his routine, then has the surgery, rehabs, and is back out performing in 3 months. For those football players, everybody talks about perseverance. How do you describe that to people that don't know Zeb? Like how unbelievable that is?
That's insane. I mean, but the fact that it's Zeb doesn't surprise me. Like, it would be Zeb.
Mm-hmm.
I think he realized just, like, what a big opportunity he had coming up with the
That's
Top
right.
Gun. And he would, like, I mean, if I were him, I wouldn't waste that. And he knew it. And so, I mean, I'm so proud of him. I can't believe he did that. That amazes me.
And when we talked to Zeb about it, he was talking about he wanted to inspire others. That's why I asked you that.
He does.
He said, I want to inspire others and one day train others.
Mm-hmm.
And he told us he had a big secret at the time. He didn't tell us it was to cheer for the University of Alabama, which is what he's doing now. But to hear you say that about him, I know it's positive feedback. He'll watch this, and I'm sure that's going to mean a lot to him. That knowing that it's making a difference. Like somebody like you, who's very competitive, very good yourself, has actually seen what he did and been inspired by it.
Because sometimes I'm thinking, like, well, this is like a lot. Like, I'm going to Atlanta, and then I'm
That's
like,
right.
he moved his whole life to Miami.
Yeah.
I'm like, if he can do that, I can
And
do
hey,
this.
I love one of the town I'm about to mention, Collinsville, where he's from. But if you've ever been to Collinsville and you've been to Miami,
They're different.
they're different planets. I mean, on Collinsville, everybody knows everybody. You could be at the grocery store and say, hey, and you're at Don Poncho's, I believe is the name of the Mexican restaurant there, and everybody knows you in there. But when you go to Miami, which is where my wife's worked the last year, it's a whole nother world.
Yeah.
And to do that, I agree with that. But yourself, you've got to know that there's girls and boys out there watching you that are like, man, you probably had people ask for pictures or autographs. How does that make you feel?
I mean, it's just such an honor. Like, you have a little kid come up to you, and
That's got to be special.
It's like so full circle, because when I was that age, I used to watch them.
You was the little kid.
Oh my goodness gracious. I would sit in my bedroom
That's
for
awesome.
Worlds, and I would have 3 laptops and like iPads and phones propped up watching everyone's routine.
Everybody's.
At
That's
Worlds.
awesome. So where's the Worlds held? It's in Florida, correct?
It's in Florida. It's at Disney World.
How much different is it than the Nationals?
Okay, this is controversial, but personally, I like Nationals better.
Okay.
Because it's this huge arena, and it's like it goes up, if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
So like all the walls is the crowd, and everyone's watching you.
Okay, gotcha.
And then at Worlds, it's like a smaller crowd. I think they try to keep everybody calm because it's like it is a bigger deal technically.
And pressure packed. I'm sure. What is it in Orlando?
Yes, sir.
So I thought it was in Orlando. So the setups, is it still 3-day competition or no?
It's 2, so they don't do the fundraiser day.
They just go straight in. So like you make a mistake, you just make a mistake there. Like there ain't no trial run, so to speak.
So the first day there, you get invited. So you either get invited full paid, and you win like $25,000, and you can go, or you can get like a half paid. Okay. And there's all these different ways to get invited, but you have to get invited. And used to, you could get a wild card, and you wouldn't get any money, so you'd have to go an extra third day. I think you'd have to like score a certain score to get to go to like the real 2-day competition.
Gotcha.
And then the first day of the competition, you have to score within the top 10 of like everybody competing.
To even be considered.
For the second day.
Gotcha.
So the second day, there's only 10 teams.
You're talking about the upper 1% in the planet at that age group. Well, at any age group, so to say. Now, got to fast forward a little bit to what you came onto the map of, which is flag football at Gadsden City.
A little bit different.
When that came down that you were going to be playing flag football, when did they make that announcement to the school? Was it voted on, or how did flag football come about here at Gadsden City?
Okay, I had Mr. Rowe come up to me and my friend Evie and say, hey, we're thinking about flag football. We just watched State from last year with Auburn.
Which exploded. A lot of people watched it.
Yes, it was quite crazy.
Yes.
Do y'all think that y'all be interested? And we were like, sure. I mean, sounds fun. Like, I didn't put much thought into it. And the superintendent came down and he was like, we really want y'all to find girls to do this.
Was this black or red at the time?
Goodness, I cannot remember.
Gotcha.
But he was excited. He was super, super excited. And so he said that we need to recruit girls from all the sports, all the best sports.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, that's Carly, our fastest girl I've ever seen in my whole life. She runs track, and she's amazing.
Gotcha.
She is so amazing. We went to every sport.
So you individually, you basically were the recruiters and recruited the girls. How did the girls take it when you brought it up to them, like, we want you to be a part of this?
Well, everyone had watched not flag football, powder puff
Gotcha.
for homecoming.
They do that every homecoming.
And it gets really intense at Gadsden City.
Yes.
So everyone was like, we could be good.
The football guys cheer you on and everything, correct?
Everyone thought we'd be really good. And so we had a ton of girls come and try out. And I think like over half were cut.
So y'all actually had cuts.
Oh, yeah. It was a big
see, I didn't
thing.
know that.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all had more than enough.
Yes, so we
Okay.
recruited the girls. We knew like we have to have them if we
Okay.
want to be good.
Gotcha.
And then they put up flyers and everything and said, okay, walk-ons, like y'all can come in, like let's try out. And we all tried out.
How many tried out, probably?
Ooh, maybe, let's see, maybe like 40?
Dude, I had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
See, I thought you guys kept everybody. I had no idea you guys had cuts.
Oh, yeah.
How grueling was the practices, the initial practices?
Okay, it was the middle of the summer and it was terrible.
Terrible.
Gosh, it was so hot. It was like where you sit and you look on the field and like there's like heat waves coming off.
Yeah.
It was something else.
Awful. All right, a couple more questions here. Once you guys got your cuts and you had your team established, what does your practices look like now? How is that? Because you had to roll right into the season.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you guys didn't get to, it was go time basically once you got your girls together. How has that looked since, like a weekly practice or whatever?
So usually we'll come in and we'll warm up together.
Gotcha.
And then the offense and the defense split off. And defense will do drills, offense will do drills, and offense will learn like a new play or something. And then we all come back together and we'll scrimmage for like an hour.
Gotcha. So then that's how you guys do weekly. First game. Let's talk about the first game. Who did you guys open up with? Do you remember?
I think Leeds.
How was the pressure in that? Were the girls nervous or?
The band came.
The band came.
The band came. And so
Really?
if that tells you anything about nerves, the band was there. And
That's a different animal then.
yeah, and we had a crowd. And so we come out, we won, thank goodness. If we had lost,
It would have been
it would have
heartbreaking.
been so bad.
I think I'm pretty positive one of our photographers was at that game.
I think he was.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
one of our photographers were at that game. So nerves before the game. Everybody was kind of panicky? You didn't know what to expect, or
I think it was good nerves.
everyone excitement nerves?
Everyone was getting really excited.
Gotcha.
There was like one or two who you looked at and they looked like they wanted to vomit. But
I
you would
love
just be like, it's fine. Like
Yeah.
everything is fine.
Just chill, man.
You just
Chill
gotta
out.
laugh. It's all good.
So as this season's transpired, how has it been for you personally? You play defensive end or a defensive, I don't know what they call it.
Me neither, really.
Hey,
I rush.
You
That's
rush.
what I
Yeah,
meant.
you rush the quarterback. How has it transpired with you? And do you watch guys maybe in the NFL or college to see how they do the same thing?
Okay, so I go to a lot of college football games, and I've
Gotcha.
never really paid attention to them. But now I'm watching.
Now
I'm
you
like,
are.
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Like this makes sense now.
Because your position, you have to hold contain. You can't just bull rush and they step around you and
Yeah,
you
they've
get in real
got.
trouble then.
I'll get a bunch of people standing in front of me sometimes.
Gotcha. How do you like it?
I love it. I was sitting in Mr. Cameron, our defensive coach's room earlier, and he was like, well, we just have one more week. And, like, I got so sad.
Oh, that's sad.
And I didn't expect to be so sad about it. Like, I just did this, like,
You didn't know you were going to enjoy it this much.
no, not at all. I don't know. I love it. I
Yeah.
had
Did
so
you
much
tell
fun.
Did you tell him you were sad?
I did. I was like, okay, well, you don't think we're going to be in playoffs? And he was like, oh, yeah, I forgot about playoffs. You're fine.
Okay.
And I was like,
good.
okay, good.
So, as this season has transpired, what have you learned about yourself? Because here's another opportunity to judge yourself against someone in a very competitive sport.
Mm-hmm.
What have you learned about yourself over this season?
Just that I can get hit and be fine. So
I'm sure you. I mean, how physical is it?
it's pretty bad.
And what's the worst you've been hit or hit somebody?
Oh gosh, we won't talk about me hitting other people again. I've gotten a flag every game so far.
like a personal foul type? Really?
I mean, it's never on purpose.
Yeah.
It's just like
Just going full force.
I'm just running at this person over and over.
And
So
then
eventually, so a lot of the refs they all judge differently. So some let blockers put their hands in front and some behind.
Gotcha.
And when the blockers put their hands in front, I'll always get punched just right here.
Oh,
And yeah.
really?
So our last game that happened.
So that's happened multiple times.
Oh, yes. Our last game that happened for a whole half. And eventually I went up to the ref and I was like, hey, can you tell them maybe to just...
Yeah. This ain't a Rocky movie.
Yeah.
We're playing football here.
And then my Cameron will look at me and be like, you just took a hit. Are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I took 12 you didn't see.
Yeah.
So we're good.
Yeah, I'm taking a roundhouse here.
Yeah.
I'm rushing the quarterback. Let's see. What else? Here's a question for you. Playoffs. How does the playoffs work in flag football?
I learned this today.
I want to know this myself because I don't know.
Okay, so first game. A lot of our games, we do try matches.
Okay.
So, like today, I'll be playing Albertville and Oxford. And so...
What time do you guys start today?
5:30.
5:30, okay. Go ahead.
And then we'll play at 5:30 and 6:30.
Okay.
And then those two teams play each other at 7:30.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So the first round of playoffs is going to be all try matches, and the top 1 and 2 get to keep going.
Okay.
So whoever loses is out.
So it's sort of like an area tournament in or volleyball, so to speak.
And
Top
then
2 goes.
After that, it's just like normal, like knockout.
Then it's one loss, you're out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So it's set up sort of like volleyball. That's how volleyball is, I believe, in regionals. So, yeah, that's takes the top 2 teams and goes on. Well, that's interesting. So, what would it mean if you guys did go win a state championship?
Oh, that would be so awesome.
Because you guys would be on TV, on WOTM's, the Good Friends of Average Joe's, at the Super 7, and this year it's going to be in Tuscaloosa, I believe. So you guys would be on TV. Yep. So,
I just think, also to be the first team in Etowah County and to make it to state.
That would be amazing.
As our first season. That would be wild.
It can be done because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that was Oxford's. No, maybe Oxford's second year.
It was an early year, though.
Yeah.
Either way.
Has to be. And they made a really good run. And
they did really well.
Ended up losing in the state tournament last year. Well, you're an interesting young lady. Definitely, I know people feel like they probably know you a lot more from this interview now, through the gymnastics, through flag football. What are some of the other things you like to do outside of those 2 hobbies?
Yeah, with all my time.
Yeah, I know, right? You got 15 minutes a week.
Yeah, I love to do nothing with my friends.
Just
as long
chill
as we're
out.
together. I just like to do nothing and be.
Just chill out with the friends.
Yes.
That's your best pastime.
I never get to rest.
Yeah.
So I love resting with my friends.
That's probably a good way to recharge your batteries, just chilling out. Any other things you'd like to tell maybe some young lady, like we talked about earlier, you were that young lady at one time looking up to these other girls that were before you. Anything you'd like to tell anybody coming up through the ranks at any rank? Could be kindergarten all the way up.
Probably if you decide that this, or not flag football, whatever you want to do, if you decide that that's what you want to do not let anyone convince you that it's like too hard.
Right.
Or that like give you an excuse. Just do it. That's what I've learned in everything. Just do it. Like if you want to do it, you can. You just like commit.
That was the Nike slogan from the 90s with the same principle. Did you know that though?
Oh my goodness.
Seriously, that was the principle. It's like, don't let anyone ever tell you, just do it. That was their slogan.
I really you can. If you put your mind to it.
That's right.
And you just don't listen.
If you would have rewound the clock 5 years ago and somebody said, you're going to be playing football and loving it, you'd probably be like, what?
I'd be like, no, I'm not. That's a joke.
And then it's happening, But, to see young ladies like yourself and to find out, one of the reasons I wanted to do this video is not everybody knows what goes into a competitive cheer, what goes into competitive gymnastics and stuff. And then, guess what? A lot of people don't know all about flag football. So I wanted to do this video for those purposes, to give some exposure to other young ladies who's doing the things you are and the insides of both of those 2 sports. Because we've had a lot of people ask us, and when Zeb's video dropped, people were like, I had no idea.
Yeah.
So this will give them another perspective.
It's its own little world. Hopefully
is.
We'll do this again after we win Worlds.
Hey, if you guys win Worlds, it's a done deal. How about we get the whole entire team?
That would be awesome.
We can do it. On Average Joe, so we can set that up.
That would be really cool.
Tell your whoever's in charge that if you guys win Worlds, we'll do an entire team video.
Road trip to Alabama.
I'll road trip over there. How about that? I've got several people that's family members that live in Georgia, so we'll go over there and do
This is my last chance. I age out now.
Let's do it.
So,
hey, I ain't putting no pressure on you, but hey,
I gotta win.
It is. You got to win this time.
I've got to.
It's go time. Lily, I appreciate you coming on with us.
Thank you so much.
I've really enjoyed it. And guys, thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.